I'm Vickie Wilhite, a member of Shorter Community AME Church and a member of Together Colorado's Transforming Justice team. We have a goal to significantly reduce mass incarceration in Colorado. We are disturbed by the fact that the United States has less than 5% of the world's population, but 25% of prisoners. We believe that any meaningful change would have to happen at the front end of the process, before people are even put in jail. So my question is, if elected mayor, how would you allocate funding to fight crime between hiring more police officers and programs addressing the root causes of crime, like housing, mental health, and poverty, and why?
And Mike, you have this one first.
Great. Okay, all of that in 2.5 minutes. So I wanted to talk about 4 things: prevention, intervention, treatment, and community-based policing. And so the first one is prevention, exactly what you said. We know this starts with how do we keep particularly young people out of the risk of being pulled into negative peer groups early on in their life. As a school principal, as someone at a community center in the North Park Hill, what we want to do is let every young person find their passion. We know right now your ability to find that passion, whether it is joining a sports team or a debate team or getting after-school tutoring, right now depends on your income. If your parents can't pay to get you access to that summer camp at the Science Museum, you don't discover that passion. So I would expand a program to offer summer school and after-school programming to students who receive free and reduced lunch so they can find that passion early on. The second step is intervention. I used to run an alternative school that in a juvenile detention center, so I worked with students who had made some of the worst decisions in their life. What we know is as soon as those young people make those mistakes, you have to wrap around services early and often. Multi-systemic therapy, in-home support for parents, supports for young people, access to adult mentors, incredibly important. The third is treatment. How do we think differently about how to support people right now? What we know is when you talk to our sheriffs, the overwhelming majority of folks who are in our correctional facilities right now are suffering from either mental health issues or addiction needs. And yet we put them in there with no real path to get better because they don't have the services they need. So what I would do is take 2 pods of our county jail and convert them. One into an inpatient mental health treatment facility, one into an inpatient addiction-based treatment facility. So those people who can come through a diversionary court, like a mental health court or a drug court, if that is your fundamental issue, know you can get to access to the actual service and treatment you're going to be able to need so you can get healthy, you can get back on your feet, you can get stabilized, you can get transitioned back into the community. And finally, we have to make sure we are actually sending the right first responders to the right situation. Yes, we do need more officers, but we really need more mental health workers. We need more EMTs and paramedics. If someone was in a mental health crisis, the last person you want to send is an officer. They're more likely to escalate the situation than de-escalate it. You want to have a mental health worker there. If someone's at risk of an overdose, you want to be able to send a paramedic or an EMT. And where we do have officers, we want to both recruit them from the communities they serve, and we want to put them back into roles where they are actually community members and community leaders, where you have a real community-based policing where you get to walk neighborhoods and build relationships, and I am out of time.
Thank you.
I'm dyslexic, and I did not know this when I was in 3rd grade, and my teacher taught me to read, but we all know if you're not reading at grade level, now I know, if you're not reading at grade level in 3rd grade, it's the #1 predictor of not graduating from high school and of who goes to prison. Today, in Denver public schools, less than 1 in 4 of our kids of color and our low-income kids are reading at grade level in 3rd grade. I would partner with Denver Public Schools to ensure that our kids at 9 years old have a different path for their future and that they can see that path. But I wouldn't stop there. I would also look at how we could transition city positions, which we can't fill today, about 10% of them, to be paid apprenticeships and internships for every Denver Public School kid. This would give them the opportunity in high school to do much like what we do in Arupe High School here, where 2 days a week you're earning and learning, 3 days a week you're in school. It increases completion rates and it provides real path to economic opportunity, which we know is a driver. I would also focus on stable housing. When you look at our budgets today, our police department is about $254 million, and our host budget for housing stability is about $240 million. I would also look at our Parks and Rec department budget and monitor that. Today, it's about $223 million. And I mention this because we made our Parks and Rec free for kids under 18. And I was chief of staff the first year we did it. And we saw our kids actually were less likely to be a victim of crime and less likely to commit a crime. That kind of investment makes a huge difference in terms of after-school programming. I would monitor our libraries as potential for those funds to increase and to impact this issue so that we would start really addressing the challenges we face. In that police department budget, I would look at, and I've already proposed an expansion of doubling the size of mental health professionals responding to our crises, because we know people need mental health support and behavioral health supports, not police supports.